Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and Sick Freak. It's Mac and Cheese here. Now, this is a video I've been putting off since about early January, and I think it's finally time to make it. Originally, maybe last year, maybe even in 2019, I was planning on making a video about the first season of Promised Neverland and reviewing that, but I never got to it. But instead, I decided to talk about season 2. Now, normally, I would say that it's not uncommon for a second season of a show to have a completely different tone from the first season, but that is not always a good thing, and in Promised Neverland's case, it really isn't. Not a good case whatsoever, so there apparently, I only got to volume 2 of the manga and stopped reading, but according to the manga, there were so many things that happen in the manga that the second season of the anime skipped. For example, the scene where the kids make it to the shelter and they open, the door with a whole bunch of TV screens for, a security. Apparently, Yugo was supposed to be there in that room. The Goldie Pond kids, Goldie Pond in general, never happened. All that stuff. And apparently there was 4 arcs of the manga that they completely skipped, which mostly had to do with Norman. So, especially with Norman, I can see why. Because there's so many plot holes in this show, and in this season, that would only make sense if you've either A, read the manga, or they actually put it in. So, let's just start from the beginning. How it starts out is weird too. It starts out how the kids are just running from this demon who are chasing them, which makes sense because they're outside of the farm where demons rule. And okay, so they're outside of the farm where demons rule, blah blah blah. But you don't exactly know how much time has passed since they escaped, because they're following the maps by William Minerva that Norman gave them, and yeah, that's all they're really doing. They're just surviving in the woods. Okay, so more filler of them living out and hiding from the demons who are trying to search for them from the house. So a demon catches Ray because he decided to split up from the group or something like that, and he eventually passes out from exhaustion. So this one random guy on a horse just kind of comes and picks him up. You'd think that I'm like, oh, that must be William Minerva, because, he looks human, right? So, meanwhile, Emma's with the kids, and her wound, when she cut off her ear, it didn't come back on, but opened back up. So, she was losing a lot of blood and had a fever, so she eventually passed out. Okay, then Emma and Ray, I think they wake up. I could be so wrong about this. And this girl is just like, this way, walk this way, this is what's happening. Okay, so then the demon guy apparently was a demon who saved Ray, and his name is Sanju. And he said, and then the girl's name, they found out that she was also a demon, and that her name was Mujika or something. And they basically said, we don't eat children because of religious reasons, which is kind of like how Jewish people don't eat pork for religious reasons. So that's what I thought. And then then the kids find out that the other kids are all there, and I think they were eating at the time. So they were all like, okay, this is kind of sus. But everyone seemed fine, and they were just kind of chilling. They were fine. So everyone went to sleep in this weird tree they lived in for some reason. And a whole thing happens where Ray and Emma find out that there are two different worlds, a demon world and a human world, and they live in the demon world. And that it's been like that, even though the show takes place like in the future, apparently this had been going on for the past 1,000 years because there was a promise made where they're like, alright, here's the deal. Demons are going to live on one side of the world and humans are going to live on the other side of the world. So then Emma and Norman start freaking raving and we're super excited. Like, oh my gosh, there's a human world, we can go there. So yeah, like that would be easy. Okay, so more plot, more of that episodes go on. So now, for like the past 6 days after they met the two demons, the kids were being trained by them to survive in the wild. And by episode 3, I think they left them. But then major plot, so the kids were gone. They're like, Sanju and Majika were like, okay, bye kids, have a good job, bye, have fun. And then a plot twist goes on. Even though these demons have been supposedly helping these kids, Mujika turns around at Sanju and is all like, alright, so should we report them to the farm? And Sanju's like, nah, I think, nah, we're good. And then Mujika's all like, why did you even help them in the first place? I hope it wasn't because of curiosity. He's like, nah, fam, they're good kids. I just wanted to help them. But then remember how I said earlier that they, didn't freaking eat kids? Well, Sanju just straight up says, I'm gonna wait for those kids to grow up. I'm gonna wait for them to have kids of their own, and then eat those kids. So that's basically, again, back to the Jewish similarity. That's like a Jewish person saying, okay, we have these pigs, but we're not going to eat them. We're going to wait for the pigs to mate and then eat their piglets. Like, either way, you're still eating something that your religion bans. Oh, and they never go on with that religion thing. They never mention anything more with that religion other than the fact that they didn't eat kids. Okay, so moving on. So the kids eventually find a shelter because the pin led them there. And they stay there and live in there for like a year. Because Anna's like writing in her little diary and it says that it's 2047, I think. So like a year had passed. And this is where things start to take a turn for the worse. And I'm not talking plot wise, I'm talking, well, kind of am, where nothing makes sense after this part. Okay, so the kids are chilling and they're Gucci in the shelter, but meanwhile it cuts back to like where Isabella is, and apparently she's in some sort of jail cell. I guess she got arrested for letting the kids run away. But then the demon shows up with the Gupna flower, which is a flower that you pierce into someone's or something's heart to kill them, and it blooms if the gods, accept it. That's what happened with Connie. That's why she had a flower in her chest when she was dead. Anyway, so basically they come in with the flower, so you assume the demons are about to kill her. But they're like, alright, there's a caveat. If you can find the kids who escaped, we won't kill you. We'll remove your number from your neck. And then they whispered something else in her ear. And I don't know. They just whispered something in her ear. And then she's all like, rest assured, bro, I'm gonna get all those kitties who betrayed me. And they even asked her if she wanted to see the kids one last time, but that never happens. Also, that was multiple episodes away from now. So, when? Like, when is that gonna happen? When? Just when? What the frick? So they go on with that, and humans finally find their way into the shelter. Like, I didn't think there were humans going in there. I didn't think there were humans were like that. Like, I thought all humans were either kids or women. Yeah, either kids or women. I don't know. I was very confused. I don't know where they came from. So then the kids decided to leave the hideout or the shelter or whatever, and they're still being chased. But eventually, I guess it works out in their favor, because a giant demon, shows up and eats the dudes who are trying to take away the kids. Um, but then it cuts to the first scene we saw at the beginning of the anime, where they were running from that demon. So, was that a glimpse into the future or something? I don't know. Okay, so more stuff. They find a different shelter, and then by the next episode, another year pass, where now their hair is different. They're wearing these weird uniforms, like no one know where they came from, and they are living in this like abandoned castle looking thing. And apparently, they found themselves in a town for demons, and they're just hiding. And apparently, they go every now and then. They leave and dress up as demons to go into the town doing whatever they need to do. Where did they get demon costumes from? I don't know. They never mention it. So they do that, and then these two demon guys were all like, "Hey, you remember how the meat from Gracefield freaking house, like farm, I guess, escaped?" And the other guys all like, "Yeah, but that was like a year ago. They probably all dropped dead." So they run into Tama and Lanian, who are also dressed up as, demons. And then he bumps into them and they're like, "Oh, sorry, kiddo." But they're like, "Hold on, something smells pretty good." And then they have to run away because they're human kids. And more stuff with that happens. And then this scene where Emma and Ray get caught is also the scene where Norman shows up. Now, I was really excited for this because I'm like, Norman is a super important character. There's no way he's dead. If Emma wasn't there, Norman would probably be the main character. It's just the truth. So he shows back up, and then the next episode, they start freaking out. For some reason, Ray slaps Norman. I never understood that. But apparently, Norman shows up at the hideout and explains where he's been. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Lambada, something like that. Either way, it's a technically he was shipped out, but I mean, not really. Not the same way that like Connie was. I will say this though. And I know for a fact in the manga that's not how things went down, at least not how it happened. In the manga, he essentially gets adopted, but that's not exactly the case. I don't know, you'd have to read it. So he tells everyone where he was and that he was in a testing facility for humans, that demons would test on humans. And then this like it's been a year, so he's probably like 12 by this point. And then he's all like, "All right, so here's the deal. I made a drug that can disintegrate demons, because then this part is actually quite useful information. Apparently, demons can only maintain a human-like form by eating humans. If not, they're virtually wild animals. So, he made this drug. Don't ask how a 12-year-old boy made a drug. I don't even know. But anyway, he made a drug that basically degenerates them or something, that's virtually kills them. So then he's like, "Okay, here's the deal. I made this drug and we're gonna kill all the demons." And then the other kids are like, "Hey, that's a good idea. Let's kill all the demons," but not Emma. Emma's like, "No, we can't kill all the demons just because they're our enemies." And everyone's like, "Emma, what the frick are you talking about?" So more exposition with Norman about where he was and the testing facility he was in. Okay, so after that, the next episode, I would say this is like episode 6, maybe 6, where apparently Norman is along with these 3 adults, Barbara, Sislo, and Vincent. There's another one with a paper bag on his head, and I don't remember his name. I don't even think he's ever spoke at all. So they're all from the same testing facility, research facility, whatever they were, that Norman was at. And for some reason, Norman's their leader. I don't know why they had a 12-year-old boy lead a whole bunch of adults. So they talked to Emma and Ray, and they talk about how Norman used to be before they met each other. And then, how Norman used to be before they met each other. And then they were talking about how different he is from how they described him. Um, and then you find out that they already have been killing demons because Barbara over there, the girl with like the star on her shirt, had been eating demons. Like the whole time she was eating like a demon leg. She's like, I love killing them and eating their meat. Now, honestly, Emma and Ray were like, what in the actual frick? But if it were me, I'd probably be like, ooh, I want to try some. Like, that would be me. That's what I would say. I wouldn't be scared. I'm like, ooh, I wonder what demon tastes like. It probably tastes like sin. But anyway, yeah. So, again, Emma's all like, okay, just because the demons are our enemies doesn't mean we gotta kill them. And everyone's still looking at Emma like she's insane. Then the most recent episode, episode 7, Emma persuades Norman into stopping that if she can find Mujika and Sanji and talk to them. But she also goes back to the other kids and freaking brainwashes them into thinking the same way she does, which is dumb. Like, the whole time I was watching that, I'm like, stop talking to them. Stop listening to Emma. Emma's idea is stupid. It just is. And then turns out that Norman really just agreed with that to get Emma to shut up. Because at the end of the episode, his friends are all like, wait, are you really gonna cancel the plan just because your siblings said it? And he's like, nah, because then he walked into this closet full of like demons and jars and a giant demon all like chained up and dead. He's all like, okay, I came this far. I am not stepping down now, which basically means that he had been killing demons way before he proposed it to his siblings. So, yeah, it was definitely just to get Emma to shut up. And so far, that's it. Now, season 2 is just why it's all over the place. There's zero consistency. And I can understand the fact that people say that their arcs skip because it feels like they're skipping things. Like how'd that happen? Another thing I don't like about season 2 is like 5 episodes have passed and still no more mention of Isabella. Secondly, in the intro, you can see Phil. He's in the intro. Um, in season 1, I always didn't understand. Like, I know no kids under 6 and under, but Phil knew about all this way before you, so you could have taken him. Okay, so they said they'll come back to the farm in like 2 years, but they're morons because you set the place on fire, so they're definitely not going to be there anymore. That was left out. Also, there's this one guy with white hair, and at first I thought he was William Minerva, but it turns out he's dead. And what else do I not like? Sometimes it can just get really boring and just way too much dialogue to the point where you're like, I want to watch something else right now. Which isn't how season 1 was. Season 1 constantly kept you on the edge of your seat. It just did. constantly kept you on the edge of your seat. You just wanted to keep watching. You wanted to binge watch this. That's what made season 1 so great. But season 2 just drains all of that. Another thing I hate is how mature the kids are. Like, yes, even in season 1, the kids didn't act like they were kids. But now they're way more mature, especially Norman. They're like little adults, which I really don't like. Like, they're kids. It's like the writers forgot that and just wrote them as adults. I don't like that. As in season 1, yeah, no. They were always kids. They were just really smart. All the stuff that leads up to their escape was brilliant, amazing. Everything that happened was a great thing to contribute to the story. But with season 2, it feels like there isn't story cuz it just feels like it's a one big mess of plot holes. And I know it is because they left off some stuff from the manga. And the first season only had 12 episodes, and we're on the 7th episode, and there's so many things they haven't continued, like the guy with the white hair, what was whispered in Isabella's ears, and how is she going to find the kids? When is Phil going to show off? When are they going to go back for Phil and the other kids? And when are they going to go to the human world? Because it turns out that the map just led back to the Graysfield house where the human world entrance was supposed to be. I don't know. So far, this is pretty shitty. I don't like season 2 at all. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.